Hi, KOIN 6 Meteorologist Josh Cozart here with your latest weather update. Of course, we've got a lot of action happening here across the Pacific Northwest. We've been talking about wildfires. Now we're transitioning into more of those fall-like feelings, and it also comes with the potential chance, keyword chance there, to potentially see the northern lights here across the Pacific Northwest once again. So thank you so much for joining us for KOIN Now, this special live edition, not only on Facebook, but also streaming live on YouTube and our website, KOIN.com, where, of course, you can always get all of the latest information across the Pacific Northwest right there at your fingertips. And we'll also be having our live brand new newscast, The 10, on Portland CW tonight, starting at 10 o'clock. And then you can catch us once again on CBS Channel 6 for KOIN 6 News at 11 o'clock. Now, we've got a lot to unpack. First, let's talk about the cloud coverage that is slowly starting to break down, because all of this is going to be really good news for us, especially when we start talking about that potential for the northern lights to once again return to the Pacific Northwest. So over the past several hours, if you joined us for KOIN 6 News starting at 4 o'clock, you may have noticed that Mount Hood was completely covered with the cloud coverage. Now, there you go. You got a nice little picture there of Oregon's tallest peak. Also seeing the clouds breaking down out towards the Ridgefield area. Much of the same for the Vancouver location. That's where the cloud coverage is still a little bit more widespread, just the same over downtown Portland. Much of the Portland-Vancouver metro area still holding on to that cloud coverage right now, as the Stoller Family Winery Estate is also painting a bit of a gloomy picture for us, but what we like to see as we work our way into the month of September. So really just a pretty picture there out towards our Vancouver waterfront. Now for today, we managed to hit 70 degrees here in the city. Our average daytime high is 78, so about 8 degrees cooler than what we should typically be at for this time of year. So we like to see that cooler trend, especially when we've been talking about how warm and how hot and dry we've been over the past month to 2 months. You'll remember it was just a week ago today we hit 102 degrees, making it the latest, September 5th, the latest 100-degree temperature ever recorded here in the city, and that goes back to the 1930s. So really impressive stuff there, and of course a far cry from the record breaker of 92 degrees set on this 12th day of September back in 1945. Radar and satellite, you can see the cloud coverage. It's still sitting over our heads. With the image below me, that's what we're looking at live out over the Rose City. Now, those clouds, they could potentially throw a nice late raindrop our way here and there, but for the most part, we are going to stay on the dry side. Now, for a lot of you stargazers or nighttime sky watchers, tonight could be an interesting night for us where we have the potential to see the aurora borealis as it dives its way further to the south. I don't think you need to jump in your car right now and immediately travel elsewhere for that shot, but keep your camera close and ready to get that shot just in case that potential is there. You can see the cloud coverage is widespread across the I-5 corridor. Of course, you have a better chance Portland and points north. We'll take a look at a map here in just a moment of the prime spots to be to potentially see that great astronomical view above our heads that we've kind of been spoiled with. Not something we see as frequently as what we have been. But let's talk about the rainfall. It's been beneficial for us across much of the Pacific Northwest. Yes, there are a lot of goose eggs through the Willamette Valley, but picking up 3/100ths of an inch for the Portland area. Also seeing just about the same along the coast and over the high terrain of the Cascades. You'll notice that Troutdale, we actually picked up on just a little over 1/10 of an inch. All right, here's the map everybody wants to see. Will we see the northern lights here across the country? Well, northern states, you got a better chance. The Pacific Northwest in particular, yeah, we're right on that fringe line. Once again, the viewing line, it's indicated by the blue to us, and that's where we could potentially see that cloud coverage prevent us from seeing the clear skies that we would typically associate with the aurora borealis. But I do have high hopes that some of those clouds, they'll start to break apart just enough to give us a quick glimpse of the aurora borealis. Now, if you get away from the city lights, you're going to want to look towards the northern horizon. That's your best chance at maybe catching a glimpse. If you are unable to see it with your naked eye, your camera phone, that's going to be our next best get. Getting that shot that all of us so desperately want. And you'll be able to visually see it just a little bit better. But again, it all plays into that cloud coverage that we are slowly peeling away through the I-5 corridor. What about the time? What time should we maybe look to the northern horizon? I would say anytime after 9 o'clock. That's when we've lost all of the soft glow of the sunset, because our sunset now, 7:26. So it is getting earlier, giving us that chance to potentially see the northern lights just a little bit earlier in the evening as well. But I would say after 10 o'clock, 11 to midnight, that's where we look to have the best window of opportunity to be able to see the northern lights once again. So let's time everything out for you. There you go. We're rushing our way through the next several hours, and I'll really kind of take it slow for us here. So this is about 10 o'clock. Again, still some of those lingering clouds. Boy, if maybe we all go outside and fan the air just a little bit, it'll be able to push them further off to the east and over the Cascades. That's where our best chance to maybe pick up on an isolated raindrop or two has the potential. So as we continue to work our way through the rest of the evening, we're now at about 3 a.m. Yeah, go ahead, look to the sky. You might be able to pick up on some of that visualization because that's where we expect to be the clearest. By sunrise at 6, 7 o'clock, mostly cloudy skies again. This isn't likely going to be like the cloud coverage that we're experiencing right now, but definitely a potential for us. Now, fast forwarding into tomorrow afternoon, that's where that cloud coverage kind of puts us back to where we are currently sitting out over downtown Portland. We stay mostly dry, though, for much of the day. It's not until we get to about Saturday morning. That's where some of those clouds will be able to produce a stray raindrop or two, and that's really going to continue to make it feel a lot more like the fall season. So that's our best chance to see the return of the wet weather. I want to go ahead and take us back to the map of the Aurora Borealis. I'm going to just take a look on our Facebook page here, see if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, would like me to answer about the forecast, as well as I get Facebook pulled up here. And we are also live right now on YouTube, so we hope that you are joining us over there as well. So really, this is going to be a bit of a breakdown for the rest of tonight. And really, the fall-like conditions are going to be staying with us over the next several days. So that's something we can definitely look forward to here in the coming days, especially if you're kind of already sick of the summer season. If you're just now joining us, remember, it was back on September 5th, exactly 1 week from today. We hit 102 degrees, not only breaking the record daytime high temperature, but also breaking that latest 100-degree temperature ever recorded in the summer season. I don't see any Facebook comments now. Feel free to share this with your friends, family members. Get the word out there, and not to miss this potential opportunity to be able to see the northern lights once again here across the Pacific Northwest. But again, we got to fight with that cloud coverage, maybe seeing a glimpse through some of that. So I won't necessarily gather everybody up and jump in the car this evening. This is more of a maybe open up the back door, back patio, look outside again to the northern horizon. You might get a better chance of being able to see some of the colors dancing above our heads once again. We'll zoom in to the Pacific Northwest. That blue line, again, that is the possibility to see it along the horizon for us here across our area. And anything north of that, likely going to be closed in with the cloud coverage once again. There you go, a bit of a look at our future cast. I always like to go out towards the Sauvie Island area. Now I'm going to see a rush of everybody out there, so stake your claim as far as your viewing goes. And you want to get away from the city lights. That's going to be your best option, so it's not muddled down by the light pollution. So additional rain accumulation, because when we're talking about the fall season here in the Pacific Northwest, we always kind of like to lean into that. Not expecting to see any accumulative rain, really, at least through Friday evening for the I-5 corridor. Can't say the same, though, out towards parts of the coast. It's a couple of 100ths of an inch of very real possibility, and this would be a welcome sight as those temperatures continue to sit below average. Now, look at this. Saturday, that's our next best chance to see those light rain showers. It starts before sunrise, takes us through the mid-morning hours into the afternoon. But if you got those outdoor Saturday plans, it's not going to be a washout whatsoever. I do anticipate that we'll see moments of dry skies, maybe even a few slivers of sunshine as well. All a possibility for us. Sunday, we start to dry things out. Again, maybe with the early morning lingering shower, but again, not impactful. Drier Monday, sunnier as well. Tuesday, that's where we get our next best chance for the widespread super soaker event of the wet weather returning. And just look at how it impacts our temperatures. Our average daytime high this time of year, 78 degrees here in the Rose City, sitting below that over the next several days. Tuesday, the wettest day, expecting to be sitting at 66. Yeah, that's our daytime high, 66 degrees. It's going to be a bit of a shock to the system. Again, after we were just talking about 1 week ago, hitting the triple digits. So a nice little change of pace for us and really starting to make it feel like the autumn season. But this latest trend of cooler, wetter weather, especially some of those heavier downpours that maybe many of us picked up on just yesterday, as seeing that now exiting the Pacific Northwest, moving through the high plains, eventually traveling further north into Canada. And as we put this into motion, we really start to see our jet stream stabilize and kind of flatten out right over western Oregon and southwest Washington. That means the mild temperatures are going to stay with us, but we dry things out for Friday. Watch, Saturday now, that's where we're having that trough work its way further to the south. Once again, it grabs all that cold Canadian air and draws it right up into our region, and that's where we could potentially have that return of the fall-like conditions, making it feel a little bit cooler and also bringing back that shower potential. Again, Saturday, and then we got a ridge that moves down the backside, so we're going to be kind of going through this weather whiplash or weather kind of swaying back and forth over the next several days. Now, if that 66-degree temperature was not warm enough, let's talk about the freeze warnings. This is not our first round of freezing temperatures. You may remember back in the middle to end of August when our temperatures here in the metro area fell back to the 60s. We saw early morning lows in central sections of Oregon fall back to the freezing mark, back into the upper 20s. In many cases. That's going to be the case, too, for Klamath and Lake County in south central Oregon, starting early tomorrow morning at 2 a.m., taking us all the way through 9 a.m. That's where we could potentially see temperatures fall back into the mid-30s. Yeah, that's above the 32 degrees threshold of freezing, but frost is still a possibility to develop in those locations. Now, it could fall as low as 29 degrees as well, so just keep that in mind as we do expect that cooling trend. So protect the sensitive plants, a lot of crops as well, because technically we're still in the summer season, but we are slowly starting to see signs that slipping away. Now we are just 10 official days away from the unofficial, or I should say the official start to the autumn season. We celebrate the unofficial start back on September 2nd, but on September 22nd, that's going to be our marker for the equal amount of daylight and nighttime hours once again here across the northern hemisphere, the autumnal equinox. That's what we can prepare for come September 22nd. Now, when we're talking about the fall foliage, yeah, we're going to be talking about that because some of our trees, different varieties across the area, are already starting to give up their shades of green. I'm talking about some of the sweet gums, the locust trees as well, some maples, all starting to turn a vibrant shade of whatever color. I've seen a lot of yellows and reds as of right now, but we don't typically, at least through the Willamette Valley, pick up on our peak of the fall foliage until we get to about the middle of October. Late October for the coastal areas and surrounding spots, and even if you go up in elevation, the cooler temperatures there really kind of getting things going already right now. So something to look forward to if you are a fall leaf peeper. 54 degrees, that's where we expect to fall to tonight. We'll see those decreasing clouds, although it will kind of be traded out with some patchy fog. Again, that's all kind of leaning into that potential for maybe obstructing your view of the aurora borealis once again. But tomorrow we will see the start of the day with some patchy fog, primarily in those low-lying areas, especially out towards the hilly locations. But 73 degrees with a few breaks in the clouds by the mid-morning hours. Then our next round of clouds, that moves its way back in with the north wind at about 3 to 5. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll go ahead and take it full in all of its glory. That way you can kind of time out the rest of your week. Expecting to see the return of the wet weather again on Saturday. By the time we get to Sunday, maybe a lingering raindrop or two, primarily in the morning hours. By the afternoon, we really start to dry things out. We'll return some more of that sunshine. For even more sunshine by the time we get to Monday with highs climbing back up into the mid-70s. That will be the peak of the heat over the next 7 days. Yeah, and then the Super Soaker event. It rolls its way back into western Oregon, southwest Washington. Expecting those temperatures to be in the mid-60s on Tuesday. It's going to be a wet one. Right now, our rain accumulation is still a little bit up in the air, quite literally, but we do anticipate that it will be on the rainier side in many cases. So something to look forward to. Again, if you are a lover of the cooler and wetter weather, that we will be seeing return to the Pacific Northwest. Now, as far as the drying trend then goes, slowly starting to come back together by the time we get to Wednesday, and then more sunshine for our summer sunshine lovers as we quickly approach the autumn equinox. So it's just right around the corner, 73 degrees 1 week from today. So it's amazing what just about a week or so will do to our weather forecast. Again, if you're just now joining us live, I want to take us back to the potential for the aurora borealis. This is where we expect to see the northern lights once again dive their way further to the south. We're talking about the Portland metro area, right on that fringe where we could potentially pick up on some of those views along the northern horizon. This all is going to be prepared for us if the cloud coverage dissipates in time. We keep our fingers and toes crossed that it will continue in that trend. So I would maybe stake out a location that's dark enough, but really before maybe you travel anywhere this evening, 10, 11, midnight or so, I would check the sky conditions. If it's mostly cloudy, it's not worth traveling anywhere. But if we are seeing a significant amount of clearing, I think you got the green light to go out, find that prime location, and hopefully be able to see the northern lights once more. Again, it's not guaranteed, but the potential is there. And when we've seen potentials like this, it almost seems like we have been rewarded here across the Pacific Northwest. I think that will do it for us right here on this special edition of KOIN Now. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to be able to catch you on The 10 on Portland CW tonight at 10 o'clock, and of course on KOIN 6 News at 11 on CBS. That's Channel 6. And then always get your latest news, weather, and sports information, because there's a lot going on in sports as well, to head over to KOIN.com anytime. Have a great Thursday night.